All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something that's, well, it's way more than just a machine. We're talking about a philosophical war that's been given flesh and steel. A literal walking, breathing contradiction.
And this quote, it just nails it. This isn't your average monster. The dual-core cyborg is a creature whose entire being, its very existence, is defined by this violent clash of two forces that should never have been brought together.
So let's really get into it. The main idea we're going to be wrestling with is this thing called ironic synthesis. And the cyborg? It's our perfect case study. We're going to see what happens when two warring ideas don't just fight, they fuse. And the result? It's not a winner. It's a permanent living monument to the war.
Okay, so to get a handle on this creature, you've got to understand where it came from. And that means understanding its parents, if you can call them that. We've got the disgraced physicist, Dr. Aerys Thorne, and on the other side, his repentant rival, the Kryptonian, Vathcon. And what's so wild about these two is that they're really just two sides of the same nihilistic coin. I mean, look at this. Thorne, he got there through pure, cold logic. He chose nihilism. But Vathcon, he's a guy running for his life from a past that was completely defined by it. Total opposites, right?
This chart really breaks it down. You've got Thorne on one side, and his baby is the quantum flux capacitor, a weapon of pure annihilation. Then you have Vathcon, and his big contribution, a life-saving kryptonite energy blast. See, we're not just talking about gadgets here. These are the explosive ingredients that are about to get mixed together.
So, the big question is, how does a philosophical argument become a physical monster, you know? The story of its birth, the crucible where it was all forged, is everything. It's key to understanding what this thing even is. And here's the thing you have to get. Nobody planned this. It wasn't designed. It was a total accident, a perfect storm of one man's ego and another's heroic mistake. And that right there, its accidental birth, that's maybe the biggest irony of this whole story.
It all went down in three kind of awful interlocking steps. First, you have technological saturation. Thorne's doomsday device basically soaks this whole old nuclear facility in its unique, destructive energy. Think of it like a technological ghost haunting the place. Then comes step two, the heroic blunder. Vathcon, in a desperate move to save everyone, unleashes this massive kryptonite blast. He's trying to do good, right? But that blast becomes the spark that lights the whole powder keg. And finally, you get the paradoxical blueprint. The two forces, one meant to destroy, one meant to save, slam into each other and create this violent feedback loop. And that loop, that chaos, it becomes the unintentional blueprint for a creature made of pure, raw contradiction.
So, this totally chaotic origin story, it's literally reflected in the cyborg's anatomy. If you want to understand it, you have to look under the hood at its twin power cores. And trust me, these aren't just batteries. They're the philosophical engines that make the whole thing go.
Yeah, picture it like a technological hydra, but with two completely opposed hearts. And each heart is pulsing with the ideology, the twisted beliefs of one of its bitter rivals.
All right, let's look at Core 1, the Kryptonian heart. This thing is basically a twisted mirror of Vathcon. And the irony here is just, wow. The energy he used to save people reacted with his own Kryptonian biology, and that's what created this ceaseless, self-sustaining power source. A hero's essence, literally powering a monster.
And if that wasn't ironic enough for you, get this. In that single chaotic moment, Vathcon's biology did something Thorne's genius could only dream of. It created a stable, perpetual nuclear reaction. The hero unintentionally perfected the very doomsday weapon his rival was trying to build. You can't make this stuff up.
Okay, so what about Core 2? This one is pure Thorne. It's his nihilistic mind, his will, distilled into a component. We're talking about a miniaturized version of his quantum flux capacitor. His genocidal device is now a heart.
I mean, just let that sink in for a second. A piece of technology that was designed to, and I quote, radiate the eastern seaboard, was somehow transformed into the contained, beating heart of a new being. A tool for mass death, repurposed to sustain one single life. It's mind-bending.
So where does this all lead? What's the takeaway? Well, when you piece it all together, the dual-core cyborg isn't just a monster. It's the ultimate expression of this whole idea of ironic synthesis, a perpetual conflict made manifest.
Because if you look at it one way, the cyborg is Thorne's ultimate win, right? It's the technological fulfillment of his nihilistic principles.
His dream of destruction was given a permanent body.
But, and this is the final, beautiful, terrible twist, that victory is only possible because it's symbiotically animated by the very being who sought to repent from that philosophy. Thorne's nihilistic dream is fueled by the life force of the man who rejected everything he stood for.
And that brings us right to the core of it all. The cyborg isn't a resolution to their war. There was no winner. The war didn't end. Its unending existence is the war. The conflict was just given a body.
So it kind of leaves you with this big provocative question, doesn't it? What happens when a conflict isn't resolved but is actually given life? How often do we see opposing forces slam together not to create a solution but to create a brand new permanent problem?